When it comes down to it, what does a presentation out of order have to do with losing deals and sales sabotage? I'm Sylvan Bell. I'm coming to you live from Sacramento on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. Now, for the last 7 or 8 years, consistently, daily, I've either been in front of a classroom or I've ridden with a salesperson and I see the common mistakes that they make. And one of the most common mistakes that salespeople make is a presentation out of order, right? A presentation out of order. So in a lot of the industries that I work within, this is the formula. So my formula may be just a little bit different from what you do, but let's just go with this, okay? So in what I work within, and a lot of in-home sales, this is the process, okay? A salesperson goes in, they build some rapport. That's step one. Step number 2, they set an agenda, explain what's going to happen. Step number 3 is they go through a discovery phase. Step number 4 is they tie the emotions to the discovery phase. Step number 5 is they do a presentation somewhat of whatever the product or service is. Step number 6 is they roll price. 7, they have objections. 8, they close. Now this is just a rough translation of what any sales process could look like. And so for you, my best recommendation is to sit down and map out what your sales process should be, because there is an optimal way for you to do this. And I will say that almost every time that I see a salesperson struggle and they create their own sales sabotage, whether they're doing good or they're doing bad and they decide to make some mistakes, is they take their sales presentation and they take it and they modify the stance, they modify the order, they modify how everything's done. And then what happens is, in their mind, there's no confidence in the process and they get lost. And then once they get lost, they have struggles. And then what happens is from that, they go to discounting and price matching, okay? So out of order sequence is one of the most common things that I see when salespeople are struggling, and it's like, look, this is fairly easy to fix. This is something that's fairly easy for you to get a grasp on. This is something that's fairly easy for you to go, I know how to deal with this, okay? You sit down, you open up some sort of document processing on your laptop. If you got a Mac, you probably have some program, I don't know what it's called. If you got a Windows, you probably got Word, okay? And so what you're going to do is you're going to sit down. It's like step number 1, just like I talked about, building rapport, okay? Step number 2, set the agenda. Step number 3, and you're going to go through, and what's going to happen is the next time you give a sales presentation, you just make a little small printout and put it somewhere in your binder, put it somewhere in your presentation guide of these are the things that I'm going to do in order for me to go through this and make sure that I close the deal, right? Because when it comes to closing sales, your consistency in your sales process is going to be key. Your ability to do the same thing over and over and over and over again is going to be the thing that's going to get you. Remember, it's not a sales call, it's a performance. It's not a sales call, it's a performance. You're there to perform, and if you're going to sing your song out of order and your fans hear it, they're going to be like, I don't get it. I don't understand. If you're a comedian and you have a normal set, you're going to give that performance, it's going to be out of order, because you're like, I don't understand. But when you give a performance and it's top notch, everybody's like, yes, everything was perfect. It was because all cylinders were firing at the same time and because you had a set presentation skill. Now, sometimes you meet with a buyer and they think in their mind, they're like, I know what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this sales guy or the sales girl off and I'm going to tell them how I want this process to be, right? Some of your comfort comes from you doing a process in order. And so sometimes you pause for a minute and you talk and you build some rapport, but there is to an extent that you have to work within your framework to make sure that you're closing deals. An out of order operation presentation is one of the most common things that I see for salespeople across the board, okay? So there's the, I'm just gonna go in and build rapport thing that people do, and it doesn't hardly ever work out. There's the, I'm just gonna get a presentation out of order. And then the last one is, I'm just gonna go in there and I'm gonna price match, and I'm gonna discount, and I'm gonna get the job, right? All 3 of those are forms of sales sabotage. It's not a good way to do some sales strategies and tactics for you to close the sale. It creates a bunch of issues for you. You get to a bunch of objections, a lot of lost deals or skinny deals. It just doesn't work to your favor, okay? So the homework assignment for you is to go through and just map out your sales process and what you're supposed to do. I gotta tell you, it doesn't work every single time, but keep it consistent 95, 96% of the time, 90% of the time you're good, okay? If you've never been to my channel before, you got one thing to do from here, just one thing. Find the subscribe button and click on it every time I send out a video. You'll get an update. This is Scott Bell, consultant, sent out another fantastic video. You should check it out, which you should. We'll see you soon. Thanks for dropping by. Aloha.